views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
You are listening to E3 Influence Radio. Own your impact. Master your world. In this new hit show, Sara Loos, empowerment coach and spiritual mentor, teaches us how our influence affects everything and everyone. The time is now to enlighten our minds, empower our hearts, and take energized action to raise the consciousness of our planet. Sara shows us how with simple, easy-to-implement steps. Get ready to achieve your greatest potential. E3 Influence Radio starts now.
Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Dr. Pat and I'm here with Sara Loos. You just heard that brilliant introduction. Today we're taking on a very important topic today. And for those of you out there, you know, when we're thinking about what it means to own your impact, how to master your world, one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough are the personal norms, what they are, and what is creating the normal that we desire. You know, in the world, we have changed over time, over decades, but there are some things that maybe still remain the same. Today, Sara, you're going to take this topic on, and we're going to kick it off by talking about what our values are. Do we still have them? Are they gone?
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. It's so interesting with all the stuff that's going on in the world right now today. I mean, even think of like tonight, we're going to get the announcement, of course, from the Trump administration for who's going to be the new Superior Court judge. Yep. And that's all about what this person values, right? And therefore how they're likely to vote, and that's how that person's going to be chosen. So it's really timely that we'd be talking today about a topic that is, you know, who our leaders and their values will create our culture. And what I think a lot of people don't recognize is that each and every one of us are leaders in our own world, and that our values will lead what we experience as well. So it's super important for us to recognize that it's time we really kind of take a closer look at what are our personal values and how are they showing up in our life. Or are they, right? Like so many people that I work with, when you drill down, they'll talk a lot about, as a matter of fact, I want to go to this, it's super important. A lot of people will talk to me about how, you know, they're suffering from depression or anxiety or all these things that are kind of epidemic in our world right now. And when we do a drill down about it, it tends to be because they're not actually embracing the values that are in their heart. They've let kind of the world go on without them and just kind of going with the tide. And they start feeling really unsettled as a result of not following what their heart really desires or what their values really are. So I think it's really timely that we look at this discussion. And so I'm going to repeat what you said. It was a beautiful intro. We're talking today about personal norms. And a lot of people haven't even heard that term, norms, right?
Right.
When I work with when I work with a lot of executives, it's pretty common if you're in a company or you're working with a board of directors or something like that, that they set norms. And norms are these guidelines for how you're going to interact. How are you going to respond to your team in certain situations? And that could be like, you know, norms around how you're going to communicate. That could be as simple as like if somebody sends an email, you reply within 48 hours or 24 hours. Or somebody, if there's a disagreement, how you're going to handle the disagreement. You know, we have this culture built so much around our giving almost 100% of our attention to our professional careers, our jobs, and so little then gets given back to our personal lives, our families, our, you know, own personal life exchanges outside of your job. So I'm really excited because I want to talk about giving people a focus on putting more energy in your personal life and putting some direct attention to creating norms there as well, because it's powerful. It really is life-changing.
You know, somebody said to me not too long ago, Sarah, they said to me, you know, they made a blanket statement, which I actually don't agree with. You know, their blanket statement was that people don't really know what their true values are, you know, and, you know, there are two things that I've learned, and that is there's one thing to know, there's another thing to accept and admit, and they're not the same.
I agree with you.
And so what we have is a scenario now where people are really being asked to start to look at inside what their values are. And so there are a couple of things happening. There are some people that are doing that, and there are other people saying, you know what, I'm just not going to even go there. I'm not going to even go there. I'm going to just accept what's going on, and I'm going to move on. And I don't think that we can do that with what you're talking about when we're talking about personal norms, can we?
No, we can't. And the reason, as I hinted at before, you will suffer the consequences some way, shape, or form. And what I see most often in my experience with my clients is you either do suffer from depression, anxiety, which is running rampant right now in our world, especially in the United States, or you suffer from disease, which is dis-ease in the body, and it'll show up taking physical form of something that isn't right within, and then you know that's a bigger and longer, harder path to follow. So, the time is now, because there's so much in our favor, which so many people kind of don't recognize, but there's so much in our favor to get this right now. There is so much scientific evidence, for example, that says, you know, from quantum physics, that what we think about, we create. And so we can think about the right stuff and create better outcomes. There's scientific evidence about the power of manifestation and that it's real. There's so much scientific evidence even about cultures. I was reading something the other day that was about how we create a culture based on exposure over time. That becomes the culture. So what I'm really excited about, Pat, is the notion that if we really embrace that and recognize that whatever we're allowing to happen over and over and over again, positive or negative, that becomes the cultural norm. That becomes that is our culture. So a little like, I mean, I have to admit, like I'm really frustrated with technology right now. I think that technology is just taking over. And, you know, we've turned a blind eye. We've really been like, oh, it's pretty. I remember back when I had little kids, we would be like, okay, we're never going to put TV, you know, the audio screens. We're never going to have one of those cars with the screens where they can watch movies. And then next thing we know, they're old enough, we're taking enough road trips. We're like, okay, they're having movies, and we're like up there so we can be, you know, pleasantly enjoying our vacation, and then not going, you know, when are we going to get there and whatever. We gave up that rule. And the same thing happens when they wanted a cell phone, and then it was a smartphone, and now I have teenagers, and you know how teenagers use a smartphone. And, you know, what you recognize is then they're lost, they're not present. And then adults are doing it too, we're not present. And we have started, like, letting things take over us. It's like this tide takes over, and we're caught in the undertow of it and the results of it. And you actually can turn that around. It's really about saying, you know what, so thank heavens there's some science people that build technology now who are going, oh my gosh, this is really becoming a problem. We need to start making applications that limit use or do this, do that, whatever. And they're recognizing the problem and, you know, what it's causing people, the downfall of it. So there are things that can be done, and it's about us saying, you know what, I don't like the direction this is headed. I want to make a change. And that we know we have the power to do it. So that's what we're talking about today. It's where are the areas in your life are things not comfortable, not working, and are you willing to step up and be empowered to make change. Because we together, one by one, can actually change our culture and change the life experience that we each individually have, right?
Well, you mentioned something earlier, and we're going to take a short break and we'll come back and talk about it. This is about, your body of work that you've done now for years, where you're helping people reach their personal best. And in order to do that, you have to understand where you are with your own value system, with your own norms. And, somebody said to me something a long time ago. They said, what would you be willing to do to reach and achieve phenomenal success? And that question right there is one that we're seeing this now play out, as you mentioned, in the headlines today. We're looking at some of the senators that know where they stand in their value systems, but yet may not be true to themselves. So the question really is, Sara, what does it take for us to understand what our personal values are, and then to find the courage to, how should we say it, stick to them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think a really important thing that you said is, when I look at personal values, the word you used was success. I think it's all about also defining what success really is.
It is.
Because we've gotten that really messed up as well. And that's why we're going off track a lot, right?
Yeah, it totally is. And for everybody out there, if, the part of the message today really is, if we are misaligned, if we're out in the world and you're out there and you know what your personal values are, but you're out in the world every day bumping up against those values, it takes its toll. It takes its toll. And when we come back, we're going to talk about, what does it mean to get it right? What does that mean? When we come back, we're going to talk about that. Sara's got lots to share about this. And what happens when you take a look at where you are from a spiritual perspective, and clearly that opens up another conversation. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Getting It Right. What that means, is it always a one-person job? Sara Loos is in the house. This is a fabulous show that she does. E3 Influence Radio. Own your impact, master your world. We'll be right back.
Stay juicy. Tune in to Your Juicy Love with me, Una Drake, co-hosting monthly with Dr. Pat, and every second Monday at 12 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio. My show, Your Juicy Love, helps you find the dynamic, life-affirming love you've always wanted. Transform your relationships and bring peace, joy, and juicy, juicy love to planet Earth. For more information, visit unadrake.com.
Darcy Pariso is your connection to spirit, energy, and healing. You can meet Darcy in person at upcoming events throughout Seattle. Do you have questions about your animal companions, yourself, or do you desire to communicate with loved ones on the other side? Darcy will connect you and get answers. Darcy can also work with energy healing to help you and your animal companions feel more balanced and recharged. Visit darcypariso.com/events.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a break-free parenting tip. If you haven't been practicing active listening or are getting into some bad habits, it's a good idea to go back to the basics and remind yourself how to be a good listener. Here's an idea that might help. When your child comes to you with a story about her day, set aside whatever you're doing and give her your full attention. If you're in the middle of something that can't be put aside, tell her that you really want to be able to give her story your full attention and ask if you could continue the conversation at a specific time. So, for example, this sounds like an important story and I'd really like to give it my full attention. Can we talk about it in 10 minutes when supper's in the oven? Active listening might sound like common sense, but often it's these simple skills that get buried in our parenting pack and easily forgotten or overlooked. Challenge yourself to practice this skill for a full week and see if you notice a difference in how much your child is sharing.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com.
Dream on, fly high, and live adventurously on The Laura Meeks Show. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Laura Meeks guides you in finding your unique gifts and bringing them to life. As a certified life coach, speaker, and veteran bomber pilot for the U.S. Air Force, Laura knows how to follow a dream. She is ready to support you so you can dream on, fly high, and live adventurously. For more information on Laura and her work, visit flyhighliving.com.
Are you ready to attract abundance, release stress, look and feel younger, all from your smartphone? Get Pure Light, a free mobile app with audios that transmit powerful frequencies to shift anything in your life. Created by some of the world's top energy healers, these audios have created miracles, often quickly. Enjoy the latest in conscious technology and download Pure Light today. To find out more, visit purelightaudio.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. You know, you're listening to E3 Influence Radio. I get to hang out with Sara as she does her fabulous show. Sara Loos is the host of E3 Influence Radio. Sara, before we jump ahead, how can people find out more about you? And let's talk about some of the things you've got going on.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, they can find me. My website is saraloos.com. It's SARALOOS.com. And I do want to mention that going through this work today, there is a worksheet because I really like to empower people and give them tools. On my website, saraloos.com, go to the radio page, and there's a personal norms worksheet that you can print out, and you can do this exercise that I'm going to be taking you through in this segment, either while we work today or listen in and then go off and do, actually that's a better choice, go off and do the exercise by yourself. But I am going to encourage you. One of the things it says on the worksheet is ask for help. I think a lot of people really want to improve their life, Pat, and they really have an inkling maybe of like, oh, I should do this or I should do that. I should work out more. I should eat better. I should whatever. Those are typical like life coaching things. I like to do soul work. And what I mean by that is I work one-on-one with people and teams of people to really understand how they're wired on a deep subconscious level, and it's helping them understand their blind spots and things that once they understand them and master them and have tools, they will be empowered to be truly their personal best. And so ask for help. We can't do this alone. Even I and all, Pat, I'm sure you've had lots of people assist you through the years, right, for your personal transformation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
None of us can do it alone. So reach out, ask for help. I do one-on-one coaching, and we can figure out if you need 3 months, 6 months, or longer, whatever you need. I'm here to assist. I love this work, and I would love to help anybody who would like support in your own personal transformation.
Well, you know, look, part of what we're looking at here is we're looking at, first of all, understanding what personal values are, but understanding what it is that we believe in, and then how we show up in the world. So tell us a little bit about, if you would, tell us a little bit about what this actually means. You know, what this idea of looking at new intentions, new values, what this means to people, and what you've created to help folks understand that, number one, we're creating a set of responsibilities for ourselves. So tell us about the worksheet you discovered.
Absolutely. So I have created a worksheet, and that is, again, on my website, and it's all about personal norms. So I genuinely believe that we together, one by one, are responsible for creating a more ethical world, the kind that we all grew up in. And, you know, there's a great quote, I think it's by Margaret Mead, that never believe that a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed that's all who ever has. And so each of us, if we want to live in a world that is brighter and full of more ethical values and so forth, it's up to us to create that individually. And I know that, you know, our thoughts and our actions are what absolutely, consistently, day in and day out, are creating what we do experience. So this worksheet is all about how you create your better life experience by changing or starting with norms. And I want to take a second to just say, this is about defining what it is that you care about, what it is that you value, and therefore making sure that you're responding to all your life experiences from these guidelines. So, for example, if you really value compassion, then you, for example, like that's a big one for me. Then I'm going to have a value system. I'm going to write a norm that says I will. And most of the norms, actually the language I like to use for a personal norm are I will, and you fill in the blank. But you create, I'm going to go through the worksheet in a second, but you create these norms that are like, these are my guidelines. So I will pause and find a way to connect so that I respond with compassion to everyone and every circumstance. That's one of my personal norms. So it's become, for me, whenever I'm challenged by someone or someone is triggering me, for example, right? Someone might be triggering me and I would normally act out and act with like fear or aggression or whatever. I remember to collect myself and pause and breathe and wait and find a way to connect with that person, and so that I can have empathy and then ultimately go to compassion. Why is it that they're acting out the way they are? Why are they attacking me? Whatever, right? So it's super important that whatever your most important values are, that you create a norm around it that becomes like your reminder, oh yes, this is how I'm going to act. This is how I'm going to respond. And I just want to take a second too, Pat, and say it's really critical that we understand that your norms get created so that you respond with love versus react with fear. I'm going to say it again. It's so important that we create personal norms that allow us to respond with love versus react with fear. Now, in my worksheet, what I say, I want to just tell you guys, so many clients I work with, when I say, what do you want to achieve? What matters to you? And they literally frequently say, I don't even know how to go about that. I don't know where to begin. So sometimes the best place to begin, just so it doesn't feel overwhelming, is to think of someone that you idolize, that you really would love to be more like, that it's like their character is something, it's like, oh, I would, if only I could be like that person, and emulate them. So for me, I straight up, my most important value is Christ consciousness. So, and what I mean by that, people ask me all that, what do you mean by that? So whether you're religious or not, it doesn't matter. Whether you are affiliated with a church or you're even an atheist, it doesn't matter. Christ consciousness, I deeply believe everybody can understand. If you know anything about Christ, whether you believe in him or not, you know that the teachings of Christ were all about love and non-judgment. If it's summarized in any way, shape, or form, 2 words, unconditional love, and then the second one would be no judgment. So for me, when I'm creating my values, I literally think I want to be coming from a place of Christ consciousness, and I would want to create my values as best I can to resemble that. Because if I can pull that off, wow, right? And I admit, I don't always succeed, but I do the best I can, and I'm making a whole lot more progress than someone who's not trying. We all have to dig it and try. So we start with that little magic nugget of just emulate someone you admire or desire to be more like, and then it really does help, get you on the path. The next thing you do is you take action. So you're going to set a date or a time where you can get really still and quiet and no distractions so that you can really sit down and think and brainstorm. Get a big sheet of paper and brainstorm, especially the questions that I put out to you in the worksheet. And so the things that I have in the worksheet include really focusing on you. I'm skipping over some things just for the sake of our time on the show.
Yeah.
But I really want people to focus on themselves. Like, what are your most important, like, what's showing up in your life right now that is really triggering you? Where are your stressors? A really important one is, what are your stressors? Where are you uncomfortable in your life? Because that'll lead you to some valuable information for growth, right? And you list all those things. Maybe make a box, and it's like stressors, and list all the things that make you stress. And what are the things that make you, that you really desire, that are missing in your life? My desires. And then write all those down. And then you can create your intention. So you really want to explore things like, where is it that I feel disempowered? That's a powerful one, too. Like, where is it that I'm losing or leaking my power? I'm just going to take a pause and go, for example, brilliant, timely example. I think what's been happening with the Me Too movement is really fascinating, because it's like over time women started, okay, I'm going to go back, respond with love versus react with fear. And I think for years, women have felt they were losing their power, leaking their power, and responding out of fear and staying quiet, right, about a culture that is not okay, right? And finally, women started having this, I love myself enough. Women are becoming really empowered, which is beautiful, fabulous, timely. And they love themselves enough to respond with love for themselves and say, I will no longer be in fear, and I will speak up because this is not okay. Perfect, timely example of that. So where are you leaking your power? Where are you giving it away to another person? And you would need to set some boundaries. And then knowing that, you create your norm statement. So, for example, it could be, this is an example I have on the worksheet, and I find it really fascinating. This is one that becomes common for so many people. I find that a lot of people say, I want to have more fun. And this is great because this is positive talk radio, and everybody's like, I want to have more fun, I want to have more joy, and then it's like, but, and then whatever their excuses, etc., it tends to be about somebody else. For women, it tends to be about their husband or partner. And for men, it tends to be about their work situation. When I talk to them, this is just a given. Or the pressures of their job. And I find it really fascinating because in that example, that is people giving their power away to someone else or some other circumstance. So the truth is, we are individually 100% responsible for our own life experience. I'm going to say that again. It's so important.
Yeah.
We each individually are 100% responsible for our life experience. And when you understand that, then you know it's my job to take care of my own joy, right? It is an inside. It's always an inside job. It's always an inside job. And it's that, this, for some people, Pat, you're going, yeah, of course, Sarah, yeah, of course. You can't believe how many people I work with who don't really embrace that and understand it. They're stuck in their story. And I always go, which came first, the energy of the story so that you brought that onto yourself, or the actual story? And when we explore that, it's really fascinating. So many people are the victim, and they keep going, I'm always the victim. How do I get out of it? Well, change the energy that you're a victim and get empowered and go, oh, I can take responsibility. Let me go back to joy. So, for example, one of the norms that I created for myself is I create joyful experiences for myself versus relying on others to please me. And it's awesome because when
It's powerful. It's not
powerful.
Only is it awesome, it's powerful.
Exactly.
And I got to say something with that one, right?
No.
That is the one that is extremely difficult for people to get.
Yes, it is.
It's extremely
so
difficult. Yeah. And everybody wants to really look at women with that one, but that is not true. This idea of making sure we're accommodating or pleasing someone else,
Yep.
really difficult to get to our core truth, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you're right, women are really, really challenged by this because we have lived what? A culture of women being passive. And thank heavens the energy is shifting, the ideas and so forth are shifting, and women are starting to step up and go, oh, wait, I can have a better life. I can impact my world in a more positive way. We need you to. I can't tell women, if you're hearing this, please understand that it's feminine energy, the nurturing, loving, compassionate feminine energy that'll really change our world. So you got to take care of yourself at home first. You can't give if the well is dry. So take care of yourself, love yourself enough, create joy in your life, own your joy. And from that, you create all this amazing, powerful energy to have a very, very important and impactful response within our world. And that starts shifting the culture of our world and for everybody. So everybody wins. All the work that I do is about how you as an individual have such an impact on everybody around you. And it starts always from within. So, yes.
And sometimes I think we need help, or at least I know that, we need help sometimes to understand where am I today and where do I want to be? I don't know about you, but since this is an inside job, a large part of what happens on the inside, we either know when we're at a place of peace or when we are at a place of conflict. We know it. We can see it in the way that it shows up in our lives and what we believe in and what we don't believe in. And sometimes it's crystal clear and we can take the next step to change. But that's not the majority of the time. That's
right.
Not the majority of the time. To say, I really want compassion. I value that. I value compassion. I'm not living that life and I don't know how to change it.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard that from your clients.
What's that, Pat?
I'm sure you've heard that from your clients. Who were really struggling. Yeah.
And luckily that's why they become my clients, because they recognize, I'm not doing it, I'm not able to do this on my own, so luckily I get to step in and help, and I'm trained in so many different modalities and so forth to help them recognize, I always call it their blind spots, and to be able to, this exercise today, at least if you're listening to this, go use the worksheet. Do as best you can on brainstorming what you want to change, what you really deeply desire. And then even if you've gotten that far, you'll probably start recognizing, I don't even know what to do from here. I get I'm supposed to write these statements, Pat and Sarah, but I don't really know how to implement them from here. And I really do hope that if that's where you land, or if you even care about the exercise and don't get any further, reach out to me, because I'm here to do just that, and I give you easy steps to take to help you recognize it, and it is truly easy. Recognize how to just make small paths to progress. It's like going to the gym. You hire a personal trainer when you're first starting out and you don't really know what you should be doing, because otherwise you could kind of get yourself hurt, or you need that motivation because we don't build muscle unless we do this repetition. It's really the same with transformation work. You really need somebody that's reminding you, are you doing this? Are you doing this consistently? Because everything that we want to change will change, again, with consistency. Being persistent on the path, choosing that over and over and over again, and practicing it over and over again, and then you actually create new habits that ultimately just become part of your programming. But it doesn't happen usually without assistance. So, yes, it's much better to get the support and help.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I want to just put out there for everyone, we'd love to we'd love to take your call. Look, if you are really struggling with how to create something, with how to shift something, and what that means is create a new norm. Like if you're someone that really believes, in a strong body, that you value a strong body, but for whatever reason, a gazillion reasons, why you're not able to get to the gym, or if you value having vacation, and that is important, time off, and you don't know how to give yourself the gift of time, I find that one in particular is a real showstopper. Give us a call, 1-800-930-2819. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about how do we play with some of these new norms? What does that look like? And then once we have a sense of it, then, let's keep our eye on the target of human mastery. 1-800-930-2819 to get some help right live here with Sara today. And we'll be right back with the show. Believe me, this is something all of us can use some help with. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Let It Go Radio. The future awaits you. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Barbara Scheidegger explores the way to clarity, peace, and how to live a successful life on your terms by turning negative experiences into positive ones. Barbara's curiosity about the human experience drives her both personally and professionally. As a life coach, author, and renowned clinical hypnotherapist, Barbara knows how to move forward in a natural, organic way without side effects. If you want to grow, be sure to tune in to Let It Go Radio. To learn more, visit letitgohypnosis.com.
Love Living Radio Ignite Your Whole Being with Emily Perkins is a show for those looking to explore the sparkling magnificence of their inner selves. Tune in every second and fourth Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific as Emily sheds a radiant light of love on the beauty and power that resides within you. Discussing love in all its forms through conversations that provoke awareness, curiosity, and expansion, Emily shares the unlimited power of love. For more information or to listen to this show, visit lovelivingHolistics.com.
Are you ready to make deep, lasting, transformative changes? Then tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio for Susanna Jameson's hit show, Love, Light, Sound Radio. During her show, Susanna inspires and supports spiritually and health-conscious individuals all over the world to reconnect with their hearts, their inner peace, and balance. Love, Light, Sound Radio. Transformation happens here now. For more information, visit SusannaJameson.com.
Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Practice living in wholeness and achieve fulfillment in your life with your body in full service to you. Sign up for the Body Tune-Up. 6 online classes designed for radical self-healing and self-regeneration. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com. Evolve. Become a practitioner now.
Wow. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here. Sara Loos is in the house with E3 Influence Radio. What does it mean to own your own impact? What does it mean to master your world? Today, we're talking about personal norms, creating the normal that you desire, not the normal that somebody else tells you you should desire. And that's the hardest thing to do. as I said before, we're opening up the phone lines. If you want to get some help on this right now, 1-800-930-2819. Let's talk about this, and especially in terms now of how we move this from the new norm to human mastery.
Yes, absolutely. So, Pat, what I wanted to talk a little bit about is the steps of, let's say you create your norm. And I was talking about before the whole idea of, let's go back to the fun piece for a minute. And then I also want to do your vacation question you asked before the break, right?
Yeah.
So if I have a personal norm that says I create joyful experiences for myself versus relying on others to please me, okay? And that's an important one for me. And I'll be honest, that was one that I created literally in the last 2 years, because I'm a mother of 2 girls, and I'm a wife, and I do my work, and I've been really caught up in this, I have to give to everybody else before I give into myself. And then one day I was like, hang on, I'm not so happy as much as I used to be, and I choose to be more happy. So it really feeds into your question before the break about vacation time. If I'm waiting around for my husband to go, you know what, we need to schedule a family vacation, we really deserve a break, I don't know that he's not going to get caught up in his career and not be thinking about it either. And I don't want my kids to be like going, Mom, let's go to the beach. It's summer. When can we go to the beach? And I'm, don't wait for other people to suggest it or whatever. If I'm sitting here and I'm going, I need a day off. I need a day to go to the beach and really enjoy it. It's summer. Then I know that I need to actually schedule it and make that happen for myself. Your vacation piece. So, beautiful, wonderful question, especially with summer on us and so forth. So many of us in the United States, we live in a culture that we believe is all about productivity. And our focus is on, it's really about if I work more, I produce more. And I disagree with that so much, because there's only so much capacity we have to actually be productive. There's a benefit versus time commitment ratio that just falls apart if we're going on steam. If we're really, not on steam, if we're running on fumes versus actual, our powerful steam. And so what I'd like to talk about is recognizing and calling out how many of us in the United States are afraid to actually give ourselves permission to take time off and to be joyful and to have these other quality experiences versus working, right?
Yeah.
And so during the break, you and I were talking about you going, to your table tennis championships and setting a goal of making that happen. And what I want to point out is there are many people listening who are probably like, I've always wanted to go to Europe and I want to make that happen, but I just can't even fathom it. So, couple of pointers from my side. I think first and foremost is we have to recognize in the United States that there are so many other countries who are doing this so much better than us, and for good reason, because there's so much research that points to that when we're happier, that's why I started with that whole value statement about when I create joyful experiences for myself. When we're happier, we are more productive. Our minds think more clearly. We are actually more productive. In other words, we have more output that is of quality origin. And everything else in our life just runs more smoothly. So there are so many people who are working themselves into their grave, and they're going to keep doing that because they're on that path. They can't pull themselves out, or they think they can't pull themselves out, because that's their trajectory. In the United States, our overproductive idea of this is good is actually counterproductive. So what I do is I go back to my value statement, which is I create joyful experiences for myself versus rely on others to please me. And I would also create a value statement that says something like, I am responsible for my healthy attitudes. I am responsible for my ease. I am responsible for my lack of tension, whatever. It's really about recognizing that when you're overworking, that it isn't productive and what it's creating in your body. Like, it makes you tired, exhausted, stressed, usually causes anxiety, etc. Instead of saying, I really need a break, and I really want to do something that's, like, valuable and fun so that I can clear the deck and change that energy. Okay, so I've gotten a little off path. I want to pull this back. There's also something to point out that usually when people won't take time off, and this is going to sting a little bit, I mean it with great love and compassion, that is your ego talking, because it usually has something to do with they couldn't possibly get along without me if I go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't it get back to what you said about fear early on?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, what would be what would be like a reason for not take the time off? I think it's exactly like you said. It's not a soul level kind of input you're getting.
Bingo.
It's one of these, if I take off, I may come back and not have my job. Okay. Oh, look at all the hands go up when I just said that out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I know I was there.
Yep, it's reacting out of fear versus responding from love. And you're like, okay, we're talking works there. What do you mean responding from love? Love for yourself.
Oh.
Love for really what you're capable of impacting if you're a more quality person who's taking care of you, right? Like, a loving response is, I know that I do all that I can. I am contributing all that I can. In the circumstance, I also know that I require time off. I require time to clear my head, clear my thoughts, and get inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing that we're losing sight of as well. When you don't take time off, you lose inspiration.
Yeah.
And I love the word inspiration. I love the word inspiration because inspiration is in-spirited, spirit is included, action. So that is when you are actually being inspired by the universe, source, God, spirit, whatever you call that. And, anybody that works with me and knows me knows, I don't care what your label is. It's really important that you not care what your label is, that we actually get that connection and allow ourselves to be inspired and given new ideas
Sarah,
and new direction.
Here's the thing. We have these programs now. At least they're all over the world. Millions of people participate in these programs. And we know them as 12-step programs. But actually, it's gone beyond that now. And the term that is used is the God of your understanding. See that?
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Because what you're saying is, and I've got to get back to this. What you're saying is, at the core of all of us, there is this spark within us. And a majority of us now believe that that spark is connected to a life force energy, God consciousness, whatever it is. But here's the deal. It is so hard for anyone to do anything with their true value system after years and years of denying themselves that gift. It's very hard to do it without help. And that's what you're offering. You're saying to folks, wait a minute, I've created a way to help you go from egocentric system of your life to a soul level system, from going from a secondary value system that denies you what your birthright is to one that not only acknowledges it, but opens up the door for you to live it. And then lastly, how to then not just have this be a one-night stand of values and personal values, but have it be a lifetime of brilliance. That's what you do to help people, whether it's in an organization or not. And you've built a coaching platform around this, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Pat, that was so beautifully said. It is so important that you actually, each of us understands that spark within is so more powerful, so more intelligent, so more loving than anything that we will ever experience. And if we understand how to get connected to that and let that guide us, literally, every single thing we do, every decision we make, every response that we have is with ease. And just, like, take that in. Like, I really genuinely know this to be the truth because I've worked with so many clients whose life is about struggle. And you can end the struggle when you finally get these concepts in deeply and you practice them on a consistent basis. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh, my God, I just love the responses I get from clients who are like, I cannot believe how everything's changing. Everything is changing. And the testimonials that come out. I mean, I get tears in my eyes, Pat. I just get so much joy out of getting to be like the vessel that gets to hold this information and help them, assist them, you know, through birthing this in their lives. It is exquisite, and it is all about. It's very different than regular coaching, guys. I just want to say that. It's very different.
Why I wanted to point it out, Sarah, because for several reasons. One, you and I know firsthand that neither one of us would be here talking to anybody if we had not tackled this ourselves, right?
Exactly.
We know this.
Absolutely. Got to do your own work before you can try to help somebody else. Absolutely.
Exactly. And the other thing I want to say is she works with a set number of people. And so I want to make sure all of you go to her website, saraloos.com, LOOS, SARALOOS.com, to work with her. There's a work with her page, and take a look at this because she opens up her coaching program and it fills up super quickly. And that's why we wanted to get to all of you today, because as we move forward, our personal value systems will be challenged. And I think that's why you're doing this, Sarah, is you're seeing it left and right.
Yeah, and I feel very called, Pat, to impact the lives of as many people as I possibly can. I mean, I am very clear that I am here on this planet to help people connect to that. I love that, the God of your own understanding, the spark within, to help you connect to that and to understand how much brighter your life and all the people's lives that you influence as a result of that connection, just how much different things can be if we do that. I'm really clear that one by one by one, we each taking responsibility for our life can massively change this planet. And I think that is what is being asked of us all now. That's why we're unsettled. You know, that's why the world is feeling like we're moving without a rudder, because we're looking for people to step up. We really know that we need people to take responsibility for their personal lives, create your personal norms, and change the world.
Yeah, I agree. Sarah, you're amazing. Thank you so much for bringing this message today. And again, folks can go to your website, right?
Absolutely, and I hope you will. Again, it's SARALOOS.com.
Quick last question, personal message. What do you want to leave us with?
I think that the time is now. If you are feeling any struggle, if you're feeling discomfort, if you're feeling sadness and anxiety and stress, that is your body telling you. Our emotions are our guidance system. So your negative emotions are telling you, please make a change.
Thank you for listening to E3 Influence Radio. Own your impact. Master your world. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Sara Loos, empowerment coach and spiritual mentor, teaches us how to achieve our greatest potential to positively affect everything and everyone. If you missed any part of this show or want to find out more about Sara Loos and her E3 Influence program, visit Saraloos.com.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.